Well, good morning, YouTube. This is Chuck, and it's Monday, May 13th, 2024, about 8 o'clock in the morning, and this was our home last night. Give you a little pan around here, you can see. Kind of a pretty place. I'm out taking old Flapjack for his morning walk, and I figured I'd talk to you a little bit. This little spot where we're at is it's just off the road, maybe 100 yards actually off the highway, and it's a good handy spot to overnight. And you can tell the morning sun is just beautiful here. It got kind of chilly. It got down to 30s last night, and it's a little chilly right now. But one of the nice things about this spot, besides its proximity to the road, and it's handy and it's pretty level, as you can see, we didn't even have to unhook. But it's also right next to a cell tower. So we have 5 bars of 4G here, which is pretty handy. I don't usually upload because I don't have much data on my data plan. But I do, I can put up my morning post from here, which I already did. But anyway, while I'm walking the dog this morning, if he drags me one side or another, you'll know why. But figured I'd bring you up to date on a couple of things. One thing is I finally heard back from, quit pulling. I finally heard back from Alabama Al. He called me a couple nights ago. I was busy enough yesterday and day before that I didn't get a chance to make a video to tell you about it. But he's had some pretty interesting things happen to him since I talked to him last, or since I talked to you last. And one of the things was pretty life-altering for him. He's had, I told you before, and I got the dog pulling on me, excuse me, there's just enough traffic on this road that I don't want to let him run. But anyway, he's had reoccurring back and hip problems for quite some time, and he works an outside job that's pretty physical, and so it's been many years he's been pretty uncomfortable, and there's been nights he couldn't sleep and all this kind of stuff. Well, they came. This would be, well, a week ago now. I believe it was last Monday. He went to work in the morning and it got rained out, so they sent everybody home. And quit pulling. And anyway, so he got back home, and about 9 o'clock, he and his wife both all of a sudden they decided, you know, maybe we'll just lay down and take a nap. And he said that's very unlike both of them, because they never do that. And but they did, and they laid down, and both of them instantly fell asleep, and they both slept till about 2 in the afternoon. So that's 5 hours in the middle of the day. And then when they woke up, they both woke up simultaneously, and they both had some kind of memory of somebody being in their bedroom with them. They didn't know what it was. Well, first thing that happens is Al starts to get out of bed, and he realizes, oh my goodness, his back doesn't hurt anymore. And he got up and moved around. His hip didn't hurt. And he was excited to tell me about it, because he said that since that happened, he said he's been like he's 20 years younger. He said his back and his hip have not hurt him a bit like they were. Folks, that's a pretty major healing. So once he opened the door to understand them, and acknowledge that they're there and communicate with them, then they came in and they performed a major healing on him in the middle of the day, if you can imagine that. They had some other things he told me about. I think I'll just stay here where I think I'm in the sun okay here, maybe. I'm trying to not get too harsh a lighting. Let's see, maybe this will be a little better. Anyway, another thing that happened is he'd been out and around his house, and not too far from where he lives on the same property, there's an old abandoned house that's partially caved in, collapsed. And he said in the windows of that, he's actually seen individuals, including, they look like all children. And the one looks, he says, looks like a young Native American girl. And he's seen that face 2 or 3 times looking out the windows. And he's trying to pull me down the hill. Flapjack, don't do that. No, he's getting ready to do his business here, so we You, certainly don't need to show you that. But anyway, So I told him, I said, you know, I bet that's Sayn'ya. I bet that's the one that showed herself to you. And she has very, very human, Native American-like features. And so I told him, you know, go down and ask her if that's her. I got to spin around here again, because somebody or other, I won't tell you who it is, but his initials are FJ, has wrapped me around with his leash. There we go. You might notice while I'm here, let me spin you back around here. You can see the buildings through the trees over there, and you might be able to actually see the tower, because the cell tower is right there. And that's a Arizona Department of Transportation maintenance yard, and that's where that cell tower's at. And that's one of the reasons why it's so handy to camp here, because it's good signal, good radio stations. Let me tell you about the radio station for a second, then I'll get back to telling you about Alabama Al. The radio station we're getting here is it's an oldies country station out of St. George, Utah, and it plays not the real old twangy George Jones, Hank Williams kind of country, but the stuff that you know, they played about 30 years ago, the good stuff. And boy, they've been playing some songs there I haven't heard in years and years, and I kind of like that radio station. I'm not a huge fan of modern country, but I tend to listen a lot to classic rock. And this station here is kind of the country version of classic rock station, and it's pretty darn good. I kind of like it. Anyway, back to my story. Another thing he was telling me about is he's seen quite a few orbs, and the house next door where the property owner actually lives, he's got black back steps, and he says there's like 4 steps up to the little landing by their back door. And he said he was watching here a while back, and he said there was a little orb that would hop up the steps one at a time, boom, 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 to get to the top step, and then it would jump off, boom, and then it'd go run around to the steps again and go up the steps. And he said he watched that orb do that. And so I told him, I said, you know, that was one of them little ones. They were just having fun. And he said he watched it. He said it was like a yellow orb, and he said it'd go up the steps and then jump off, and then run around to the steps and go up the steps again. And that would have been a cute thing to see. I'd never seen anything like that. But he's had quite a number of things happen since I talked to him last. And somebody was asking where in Alabama that's at, and I don't want to reveal the exact location, but I think maybe I think maybe it's safe to say that the northeast quarter of the state. That'll narrow it down somewhat for some of you folks that are wondering. But anyway, let me spin you back around here. Oh, there's actually somebody in a car over here. Maybe I'll stop and talk to them. And looks like somebody's sleeping in their car. Another little camp spot here. I don't want to put them on camera unless it's okay with them. Let me plug this in right here. And I did stop and talk to the car campers. And it's a young couple from originally from El Salvador. Now they live in Colorado, and they're out for a week traveling around the West car camping, and they're headed over to Zion to do some hiking over in Zion. Very, very nice young couple. Stopped and talked to them for a little bit. I didn't ask them if they wanted to be on camera, but very pleasant folks you run into out here camping. So let me get on with the video. This is what I'm looking at here. Give you a look around the other way. There's back over there the Highway Department yard again, and we're camped back down the way a little bit there. So let me end this one. I'll tell you as I always do, take care of each other, love each other. It's a beautiful morning up here on the mountain. It was down in the 30s last night here, and but we're just under 8,000 feet, so we can understand that. We're going to stay here till later on in the morning, then we're going to head on down to Kanab. So I'll be back with you again pretty quick. Let me give you one more look on down the road here. And for right now, until I get back with you, I'll just tell you peace out.